Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Welcome to the third annual MDplus Datathon. Yeah, today's a kickoff session and we're starting today. So we'll be going over some of the logistics and then the data sets and sort of how everything's going to work. So just to start off with, if you're not already familiar with MDplus, we're an organization of medical students across the country who are interested in the intersection of medicine and fields outside of medicine. We have a bunch of different working teams across like data, VC, um, and just people who are interested in like business, life sciences, biotech. It started about 4 years ago, and this is the third year that we're running the Datathon as well. If you're here, you probably should have already joined the Slack, which is our main channel for announcing a lot of MDplus activities. And hopefully you've had a chance to look around at some of the other opportunities that are posted there as well. We can start with some introductions. I'm Lawrence. I'm one of the co-directors of data, and I'm a student at Brown, the second year. I actually got involved with MDplus through the Datathon last year and then decided to join the board this year as well. And it's been a great experience. I'll let the other members who are here introduce themselves as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Michael. I am a fourth year MD PhD student at Penn. I started in 2021, and I helped with the Datathon last year.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the all other co-chair of AI and data. I'm a second year MD PhD student at the Icahn School of Medicine. So if anyone's at Mount Sinai, feel free to reach out. Uh, yeah, and all of us are open to hearing from you all if you have any questions about anything or just like any guidance in AI and data.
I'll quickly say hi as well. Hi, everybody. My name's Clara. I'm one of the co-chairs of MDplus along with Steve. Super excited for y'all to join and to kick off the third Datathon. And also, if you happen to be in the New York City area, we're doing an in-person meetup tomorrow. So hope to see y'all there if you're in the area, but otherwise, I'll let you guys continue.
Sounds good. And yeah, we'd like to thank some of the supporters of the Datathon this year as well. We have judges and some support from Scale, NoTex, NYU, and Ava MD. So thank you so much to them. Yeah, so generally, what is the purpose of MDplus and specifically this Datathon? We're trying to encourage some exploration of new skills and learning how we can incorporate these other fields into our practice of medicine. And hopefully the things that you take away from here, whether it's the connections and the learning, serve you really well as you move forward and you can continue to stay involved with MDplus throughout the Datathon and afterwards. Specifically, what we're looking for in this Datathon is to hopefully help people who are at various levels of experience working with data, programming, more technical expertise to learn how to reason through some of these data sets quantitatively and work on these problems with like-minded individuals. I know personally for me last year, our team had students from, I think, 5 different medical schools, and it was just great to be able to work with people from around the country that I wouldn't have been able to meet otherwise. And specifically, we had about 150 people last year, and we focused on value-based care with judges from various organizations, companies, universities, and all the teams were able to produce like professional-looking slideshows. Some manuscripts came out of it, and also a lot of applications from the data exploration as well. And this year, we're focusing on generative AI, which has been a huge buzz in the last year or so. It's been hyped up a lot as being able to transform healthcare, and we're specifically interested in looking at how we can apply it as students for responsible use in clinical care. And we chose this year to broaden the scope of the Datathon just because I feel like generative AI is such a horizontally applicable technology that with all these different data sets, we're excited to see what people will come up with using different types of problems and types of data. Yeah, we sort of talked about this already, forming connections across different schools. Personally, I was from the Datathon project last year. Our team was able to come up with a publication and present it at a conference. That was a really good experience, sort of one of my first times like working through a data problem like that and then going through the whole academic process as well. We'll also have the opportunity for finalist teams to pitch in front of judges to get practice there. In terms of the logistics, we'll have some workshops that our team will be running throughout the course of the Datathon. Most of them will have a live component, but we'll record them and then make the resources available throughout as well. And then obviously people can feel free to reach out to us through the Slack. We're hoping that's going to be the main form of communication. I think we've posted this before, but we're looking for teams of between 3 to 5. And the more different experiences you can draw on to form your team, the better. And then we'll have the final presentation for selected finalist teams in about a month, or maybe 5 weeks or 3 weeks or so, November 18th. I'll let Michael take it over from here.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Lawrence. So obviously a big component of the Datathon is kind of using code and programming to be able to explore, data sets and derive insights and ultimately arrive at a solution. Over the past couple of years, we've noticed that a lot of participants have varying degrees of experience with programming and with, Python, which is a programming language. Some of you may be really experienced, and that's great, and some of you may have no experience, and that's also totally fine. And the goal really is to be able to kind of get everyone up to speed and kind of learn how to use programming for you and kind of to tackle the things that you want to kind of tackle right through this Datathon and also through kind of any future stuff you do as well. So in light of this, we've tried to set up 2 kind of like discussion-based forums so that if you do have any questions and your team is kind of struggling with something or you don't really know how to debug, a part of your code, we want to make that as easy as possible for you to be able to get the solutions that you're kind of looking for. The first parts that I want to share is, let me pull up the Slack channel. So again, Slack will be our main form of communication for all things logistic, general, but also can be a tool that's useful for kind of programming help as well, right? And so by now, I think all of you should be added to the private Datathon 2024 channel in the MDplus Slack. If you are not in this, please let us know afterwards, like send us an email or get in touch with us. But basically, I think asking a question publicly, at least for me, can sometimes be a little bit jarring and a little bit nerve-wracking as well. And so what we've done is, if you want to just send a message anonymously, you can just do anonymous. Hi everyone, this is a example anonymous message, right? And you press enter, right? This little pop-up will pop up, right? It'll be anonymous bot. I can send it, right? And then now you can see my message in the thread, but obviously, you don't know who I am. And so if you have any questions and you're not really sure, oh, is this like a quote unquote stupid question or an easy question? That's totally fine. And so you can use this for any functionality to be able to ask programming questions or logistical questions or otherwise. If you have any questions on that, please let me know. Another form that we're also trying out experimentally this year is something called EdStem. If you guys, again, all of you should have received like an invite for this. If you have not, please let me know. But let me share what this platform kind of looks like. So you can see I'm in a couple of different like EdStem quote unquote like courses. And one of them is the MDplus 2024 course, which is like basically our discussion forum. If you guys have ever used like Piazza in the past, like this is kind of similar to that. But it's really, you can kind of use this to pose questions, again, general, logistic, anything related to the MDplus Datathon by, creating a new thread, titling it a question. This is an example, right? I have a question. Maybe my code isn't working. Help. My code isn't working. And then usually, I don't know what your code looks like and we can't really help you unless we see your code, right? And so what you can do is you can copy paste your code. Maybe my code looks like this, right? And something like that, right? There's a lot of different functionality that you can do. You can make it anonymous. You can make it just private to just like, me, Lawrence, and Emily, and stuff like that, okay? So if I post it anonymously, people can, comment and add answers and things like that. And so you can basically get help this way as well. We'll be monitoring both platforms, so it's really kind of whatever you want to use or whatever is most intuitive for you. You can kind of post things as helpful. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slide deck. If I can slide. Oh, here. Okay. And then, okay, here. Wait, can you guys see my screen? Is that not showing up?
Yeah, it's not showing up.
Okay.
I can try sharing again.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing then. Yeah. Yeah, so we talked about kind of like this anonymous bot feature, right, on the Slack channel, and also this kind of example for EdSTEM. Yeah, so important dates, right? These are kind of like the mission critical dates that all of you guys should be aware of. This official kickoff event is like the start of the datathon, and we'll be talking about the different types of data sets that you guys will have access to. By next Wednesday, you guys should have hopefully found a team, and we have a team registration form in the Slack. If you're having trouble finding a team or you want help at all, just feel free to reach out to any one of us. After that, maybe kind of different from kind of traditional hackathons that you guys might have participated in the past. Our event runs for around 3 weeks, and so you have ample time to be able to explore the data set in detail, and kind of work with your team to develop an interesting solution, right? And then between Wednesday and Monday, after your final submissions, our team will take a look at it, and we'll coordinate with the judges to be able to put together a live pitch event where you guys, where the finalists will be able to kind of pitch their ideas and get feedback from experts in the field. Kind of the optional workshops. So in general, all of our workshops will, unless otherwise noted, will have a synchronous option and also be recorded. So, kind of tomorrow at 7:30, which we'll go over. Tomorrow at 7:30, we'll have like an intro to Python if you guys have never used that before, and how to use Python to download and manipulate and work with the data sets. On Monday of next week, we'll have like a workshop that goes over, how to design and formulate a problem and also solution for, different types of, challenges that you guys might be interested in working on. In workshop number 3, we'll release more details later. We'll go over, actual evaluation metrics that might be helpful, especially if you guys are interested in looking at large language models and things like ChatGPT, and how we can use kind of metrics from natural language processing to evaluate how good or bad different responses are. And we'll also be releasing an asynchronous workshop on kind of like best practices from a data science expert. Okay, so let's actually go over the data sets. So as Lawrence mentioned earlier, there are 3 different kind of tracks this year that kind of tackle the problem of how do we responsibly use generative AI tools in clinical medicine. And we want to encourage you guys to explore this from potentially 3 different avenues, right? So one of them is from mental health, and we have a mental health specific data set, SWMH. Another one is for clinical documentation, and we have a clinical visit note summarization data set that includes audio transcripts, and also the corresponding clinical notes. And finally, we have a medical education track where we have a MedQA publicly available data set of USMLE practice questions. And so we formatted these, and we've made them available at this URL, which you guys should be able to access. If not, let me know. And obviously, maybe 3 data sets doesn't look like a lot, but what you can do with them is really unlimited. And so if you're, again, having trouble thinking about what you might want to explore with these and whatever, I highly encourage you guys to come out to Monday's design workshop or kind of reach out to any of us as well. I think this is, Emily, is this your slide, or I'm not sure if...
Yeah, I can take this.
Okay.
Yeah, so for the team formation, I just wrote this in the chat. But there's 2 main ways to make a team. One, you can make a slide in that slide deck that will be linked in this, and it's also in the Slack as well. But we'll send these slides out after, so you'll have that. And then the other way to do that is to stay on after this Zoom at 7 p.m. We're going to have a kind of meet and greet. So everyone who doesn't have a team yet can get to know each other. Or if you're on a team already and wanting to recruit another person. And then you can also just always like DM people on Slack. And yeah, it's important to make sure that each team member has a role. So you might want to prioritize having like at least one person with some Python knowledge or some other coding language. Like if everyone doesn't have that background, it might be more difficult. But yeah, think about that when you're creating the team. And then this is that slide that you can make for yourself and look through that slide deck, reach out to people and try to make the best team. And then at the end of all this, you're going to be creating a report. So this is kind of like a mini paper, but it doesn't have to be as in depth. You're going to have an overview about the research questions. So this would be like background, introduction, methods, results, discussion, and then it'll be blinded for the judges so that we can't see our names when the internal team is reviewing everyone's reports. And then this year, we're inviting everybody to submit abstracts to a student-run journal. And we actually are in the process of figuring out other publishing opportunities as well. So we'll keep you all posted about that. Alternatively, you can also do what Lawrence did last year and put together like a full publication, a full paper that you can submit to any journal. And then, so the first part was the report, and then there's also a 5-minute presentation with you and your team. And this is really amazing practice at like pitching. And your slide deck can be PowerPoint or PDF, and you can add supplementary slides, but everything else has to be presented in those 5 minutes. So this is what you might want to consider for the analysis. You can do any language. We recommend Python because a lot of our tutorials are in Python, and it's the best language. So you might want to use that. And then Git you can use to collaborate on analyses. It's also just a good skill to have of how to navigate Git. So definitely give that a try. You can read previous publications to get an idea of how to use the data set. So what you can do is like actually look up the name of the data set, and there are probably other publications on it. So that's the best way to get your ideas flowing. Novelty should not come at the expense of rigor, and think carefully before throwing the kitchen sink. So I feel like in these competitions, the biggest, most important thing is really defining the problem. And that is what really makes things stand out to the judges, is when things are actually applicable to the clinic or an actual real good use case. And we'll be talking more about finding the problem and finding a solution for the problem on Monday during the design session. So definitely attend that. And then these submissions will be due on Wednesday, November 13th. So you guys have a couple weeks to work on this. And I mentioned some of this before, but there'll be an internal set of blinded judges that will select finalists. Oh, sorry, Lawrence, did you? Yeah, thanks. And then the finalists will be notified prior. And then those teams that are finalists will actually present not in person, but like live on a Zoom on the showcase. And then they will be eligible for winning the prize. And then the finalist recordings will be shown to the judges and everyone on the call in a random order. So each team will be allotted those 5 minutes max for the judge questions. And then judges will deliberate in a breakout room, and then the winners will be announced after. And then for the judging criteria, we look at rigor, relevance, creativity, and your team. So it has to be within the 3 to 5 person range. And each member should be really contributing to the project. And we'll share this detailed rubric with you as well. So just for next steps, the main things that you want to make sure logistically is that you're part of the Datathon 2024 channel. So if you're not, you can reach out to any of us and we'll make sure that you get put in there. You can add your slide deck to or your slide to the intro deck if you don't have a team yet. Ensure you can download the data sets. And then by the 30th, ideally, you want to register your team. And then, yeah, we're going to share the slides with you guys after this. And yeah, just keep tabs on the Slack because that's going to be our main form of communication. And again, if you have any questions, you can ask them anonymously in the Slack. Or if you have a more involved question with like a lot of code block, you might want to use the EdStem. And yeah, we'll also be sending out calendar invites. So make sure I set the link in the chat, but make sure you have that calendar added to your Google Calendar for the Datathon. All right, thank you all so much for coming. I'm excited to see what you all think of for the projects, and let us know if you have any questions.